In the previous installments of this retrospective, we saw the rise of Solid Snake, then we went back in time and saw the rise of Naked Snake, who would later become Big Boss, the man that Solid Snake was cloned from. But we were kind of left with the cliffhanger after MGS2. What happened with Liquid Ocelot, and what was up with the the Patriots? After the release of Metal Gear Solid 3, Hideo Kojima had announced that he would no longer be directing the Metal Gear series. Portable Ops was directed by Masahiro Yamamoto, and Metal Gear Solid 4 was going to be directed by Shuyo Murata, who helped co-write MGS3 and Zone of the Enders, the second runner. Hideo Kojima was going to produce the game, but he no longer wanted to direct the Metal Gear series. Unfortunately, some fans had a major problem with this, so Hideo Kojima began getting letters begging him to continue with Metal Gear. He even got many death threats from some of the more disgruntled fans. So eventually, at E3 in 2005, Hideo Kojima announced that he would be writing, producing, and directing Metal Gear Solid 4 alongside Murata, and that the game was going to be developed by Hideo Kojima's newly created studio, Kojima Productions. Metal Gear Solid 4 would start in the Middle East, where Snake and Otacon had tracked Liquid to, but now, due to Snake being a clone and a government weapon, he has begun to age very rapidly. Though he is a middle-aged man, he appears to be an old man. He is in rough shape, and he suffers from the effects of old age. There is a war going on in the Middle East between a private military company, or PMC, and a group of rebels. The PMCs are the bad guys, and depending on what you do, such as taking out a tank with a Javelin rocket launcher, you can get the rebels fighting against the PMCs to join your side, making it easier to get through the mission. However, you can also shoot everyone and have both sides on the battle trying to kill you. This is also where you see the geckos for the first time. Geckos are smaller Metal Gears. They stand about 15 feet tall, have a mechanical head and body in the shape of Metal Gear Rex, and the legs are biological in the shape of Metal Gear Rays. In essence, they are cyborg Metal Gears. The geckos make some weird sounds that most people would just laugh at or find stupid. They moo like a cow. However, that is because it is like their battle cry, used to calling the others. They moo because when it is heard in the distance, you would just think it was a cow. But then, by the time they got to you, it would be too late. They also made the sound of a cicada when they were stalking their prey. The sound was a familiar sound to many people, and just like the moo, it would lure people into a false sense of security. The sounds that the geckos make are a form of psychological warfare. After encountering many gecko in the very beginning of the game, Snake puts his new octo-camo suit to work to hide from them. The octo-camo works like the skin of an octopus, allowing the surface of the suit to change color and texture to match the environment around it, allowing Snake to blend right in and hide in plain sight. Snake also has the help of a solid eye, which is like an eye patch, but it is not there to cover a damaged eye. Instead, it is there to work as a scope and night vision all in one. With this, he looks even more like Big Boss. Otacon helps you through radio contact, and he also helps you with the assistance of Metal Gear Mark II. Metal Gear Mark II is a very small Metal Gear on wheels. This is not the first appearance of Mark II, however. It was also in another Hideo Kojima game that I mentioned in an earlier retrospective. Metal Gear Mark II was also in Snatcher. Metal Gear Mark II is being remote controlled by Otacon from their home base on the plane. It is equipped with Otacon stealth camouflage, and it has the ability to electrocute people and hack into computers. Mark II can also be controlled via a PlayStation controller that is held by Snake. Snake can then control Mark II and drive it around to find items and stealthily knock out guards with electricity. You also later meet Drebin and his monkey friend that travels with him wherever he goes. Drebin is a clever magician and a gun launderer. What is a gun launderer? Well, allow me to explain some things. At this point in the Metal Gear timeline, every soldier is implanted with next-generation nanomachines, very similar to the ones previously implanted in the Snake. These nanos register the guns to their owners and lock out those that don't have the correct nanos within them. This prevents weaponry from falling into the wrong hands, and it also prevents friendly fire, because a gun will not fire on anyone with friendly nanos within them. A gun launderer bypasses this lockout and allows their client to use the weapons laundered by them. This would open up Drebin's shop, which would allow you to buy weapons, weapon customization parts, and ammo that Snake had found along his mission, and you would buy them using Drebin points, which you could also gather across your mission. The Middle East is also where you meet Rat Patrol 1, a team of 4 soldiers that would help you throughout your journey to defeat Liquid Ocelot. They are led by a very familiar face, and one we haven't seen in a while, Meryl. Meryl returns from Metal Gear Solid on the PS1, and she has become quite the badass soldier. She has come a long way since her days in MGS. Meryl's pissed that her father had pulled Snake into this chaos, and she still referred to him as her uncle, as she was raised to believe. She heard that he had married a younger woman that was about Meryl's age, but I'll talk more about that later. The other members of the group are Ed, who is actually a reference to the character Ed Brown from Police Knots, Jonathan, who has an exclamation point mohawk, which is an inside joke because in many MGS games, an exclamation point appears above an enemy's head when they spot you. His name is also a reference to the Police Knots character Jonathan Ingram. And an interesting fact, it was the first time Motosada Mori, Jonathan's mocap actor, had done motion capture, even though he had been the military advisor and motion capture director for the Metal Gear series since Metal Gear Solid. And finally, there is Akiba, a tech guy that doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of the group. He is pretty awkward, and the first time you encounter him, he has a bad case of diarrhea and is trying to relieve himself in an old barrel, which you can somehow take with you and roll around in later. I mean the barrel, not anyway. The group of them are connected through a neural network via the nanomachines. The nanomachines mentioned earlier are not only to prevent weapon theft and friendly fire, they can also control their emotions through chemicals in their bodies, changing them from angry or afraid to calm and collected. These nanomachines can also connect the senses of the soldiers together, allowing a team like Rat Patrol to work together as a single unit. You also meet many enemies in the Middle East, such as the Frogs, who are Liquid's all-female personal guards, and Rat Patrol has to help you fight them off while the lot of you escape. Then you meet the bosses of the game, the Beauty and the Beast Corps. They might have a funny-sounding name, but they are no laughing matter. Each member of the B&B Corps is a beautiful woman, and each of them were face-captured from actual models. This is the beauty side. However, each of them has a beast side, a darker side. Each of them have suffered greatly in their lives. Each of them had suffered extreme PTSD shell shock from going through trauma from war when they were very young, and each of them had been consumed by their emotions. They are all equipped with different mech suits to fit their different personalities and their past. Soon Snake catches up to Liquid, and right when Snake is about to confront him, Liquid pulls out a radio and says, "Activated." Suddenly, all the soldiers around the area, including Rat Patrol, begin to freak out, crying and screaming. All of them terrified or angry. It was complete chaos. Liquid had found a way to manipulate the system that connected the nanomachines, allowing him to take control of them and shut them down, forcing the soldiers to experience all of the emotions that had come with war at once, giving them almost instant shell shock. However, for some reason, Akiba from Rat Patrol wasn't affected by this. That's odd. After Liquid escapes, Snake leaves the Middle East to try to find him again. And this is where a couple minor problems come into play. Not only do you have to install the game in the beginning, but you also have to install each and every mission between each and every mission, which is kind of annoying. Also, MGS has always had some long cutscenes and long dialogue, but between each mission is a long and story-heavy briefing to introduce you to the next mission. However, you can take control of Metal Gear Mark II and control it around the plane and find different items, so that's pretty cool. Also in these intermission scenes, you can find a new face that was only previously referenced in MGS2, Sunny, a little girl and master computer hacker. She is the daughter of Olga Gerlukovich, the very same one that was kidnapped by the Patriots. She had somehow been rescued before the events of MGS4, which Konami was going to make a game of called Metal Gear Rising, but that ended up changing to an entirely new story. But that is another video entirely. After the download of the mission and the long briefing scene, Snake finds himself in South America, where another group of rebels is fighting another group of PMCs. Just like in the Middle East, you can choose to help them or continue on with your mission. Here you find another familiar face, Naomi Hunter. Snake has to rescue her from Liquid. Naomi informs Snake that the fox dye in his blood is degrading and could possibly mutate from a virus that just affected those with a certain genetic code to a virus that could possibly kill everyone. Snake had been fighting to destroy weapons his entire life, and now there was a possibility that he could become one. And she also informs him that he may even die soon. His cells are rapidly decaying because he is a clone of Big Boss. He wasn't built to live a full life. He was built to be a weapon, and he still had a mission to do. After a talk with Naomi, Snake encounters the first of the B&B Corps, Laughing Octopus. Too bad I already used the Doc Ock joke for Solidus. She has 4 robotic tentacles, and even comes equipped with a more advanced version of Snake's Octo-Camo. She has a mask that allows her face to take on any shape, even that of Snake's face. Laughing Octopus was a young girl who lived in a fishing village in Europe, where it was customary to eat octopus. The village became a target for a cult of crazies. Overnight, her quiet little village turned into a war zone. The cult found her and her family, and they forced her to kill her entire family. And they made her laugh while she did it. She had to. but they were going to do worse to her, so she let fear take control. After defeating her, she sheds her octopus armor and her beauty is revealed beneath the beast. After you defeat her, you acquire her face camo, and if you tranquilize her beauty form, you get her camo face, allowing you to wear her face. Also, if you tranquilize the beast form, you will get a statue of her. Collect all the statues along with a frog soldier statue, using the same means of tranquilizing them, and you will get the solar gun at the end of the game. A gun that soaks up and shoots solar energy to knock enemies out. After defeating Octopus, Snake must then track where they took Naomi by following the footprints of Naomi and the soldiers, which can be kind of tricky sometimes. In South America, you'll also discover who Roy Campbell's new wife is. It is none other than Rose. Rose and Raiden are no longer together, and she has married Roy Campbell. That was a total surprise. And speaking of Raiden, he also makes a return, but he has changed a bit. Instead of the young pretty boy he once was, he is now a cyborg ninja very similar to Gray Fox, but with some more advanced capabilities. He shows up and fights off a group of geckos single-handedly, and then he faces off against another familiar face that has returned from MGS2. Vamp is still alive, and he has returned to fight at Liquid's side. He doesn't look quite as good as he used to, but he is much more powerful than he ever was before. He seriously injures Raiden, but thankfully all of them are able to escape. Then more downloading and another long briefing follows, and in this briefing scene, Otacon and Naomi make a connection. They are both scientists, and they have a lot in common. One thing leads to another, and they end up spending the night together. Go Otacon! But not long after they land, she disappears again. Join me next time to see more of the story of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.